Hello, Cigar.com. Michael here with another cigar pairing. This one is special. Today, I have with me the creator of the #1 humidor in the world, certified by Cigar Aficionado Magazine, and also the creator of the 92 rated Red Label cigar, none other than Daniel Marshall. Daniel, thank you for being here with us.
Michael, great pleasure. Cigar.com, #1. I love it.
Thank you.
It's a super pleasure to be here to enjoy the campfire with all of you and to be able to discuss two of my favorite things, the brown gold and the liquid gold.
There you go. So what I want to get, a lot of people know you from the humidors. They know your humidors are beautiful. Presidents, you name it, they've had your humidor. How did you get into making cigars?
35 years has been an extraordinary adventure. I've been very fortunate ever since I started my business in my backyard by my sailboat. Around 21 years ago, a magazine called Cigar Aficionado, 25 years ago, Cigar Aficionado came out. And Marvin Shanken had this genius idea to do big smokes around the country. And so I would do that with the great cigar legends of our time and became personal friends with all of them. And so at these shows, we would constantly have people coming up to us, the consumer, the retailer. Marshall, you make the best humidor in the world. Where's your cigar? We'd buy it. We know you're fanatical about the humidor. We know you'd be fanatical about that cigar. So I was sitting next to Manuel Quesada one night and I said, Manuel, we're at the peak of the cigar boom. I know you can't make enough of your own cigars. Can you make me a cigar? And he said, we're friends. For you, I'll do it. So he started making me 5,000 cigars in 1996. Black label, white label, and then after that, the red label with Nestor Plasencia in Nicaragua. So I'm one of the only cigar creators out there that have two cigar legends behind us. Manuel Quesada and Nestor Plasencia.
That's great. And I think a lot of people would really be interested to know what makes your cigar so good. And one thing is, a lot of people won't know this, is it's 5-year-old aged tobacco. And once it's rolled and ready to go, you don't release it. It sits in the box for another year.
Right.
And it really pulls the flavors together.
Well, there's a few characteristics that I think that make our cigars stand out and become something that I can be truly proud of and be able to offer to the most discriminating cigar lovers in the world who collect our humidors and enjoy our cigars. And it is, besides the obvious element of time, I believe that time is so critical and important to have extraordinary tobacco and extraordinary cigars. The characteristics which we're going for are rich and smooth. And the smoothness is the time. And you cannot get smoothness without time. So that's why when Manuel and Nestor make my cigars, I say, guys, use the best tobacco you have.
It shows.
Oldest. And then we are going to take it and age it in the box. It's called box aging for a minimum of 1 year. People aren't so happy about that. That's why it's a very limited production cigar, because I'm adamant about it being held back for that additional year, because it creates such a resonance and a body, just like wine and whiskey. And that's why I love the two of these paired together, because they do share so many common elements.
Right, so let's get into that. Why, I mean, they're so smooth and rich, and the whiskey we're drinking, the Balvenie, it's got a nice long finish, it's warming, and the notes, they complement each other so well. Why Balvenie?
Yes, well, the cigar is complex in its flavor and its intensity and in its smoothness and richness. So there's a lot of nuances and a lot of flavor going on there when we taste the Daniel Marshall cigar. And I found that the Balvenie shares those same characteristics, being very, very complex, a lot going on for it, a lot to share, a lot to enjoy, and it lingers, just like our great cigar will linger on your taste buds. And so Balvenie, I discovered, has the characteristics of using the best material, the best elements to make that, the time, the wood. The magic of wood in cigars is very important. Cedar is to cigars as oak is to whiskey.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Good way to put it. What I like is it brings out the notes that I get from the cigar, of the cinnamon, the cocoa, and it seems like drinking it with a whiskey, it kind of enhances it and really pumps it up a bit.
Without a doubt. I always love that when you're sipping this whiskey and tasting your cigar, that the cigar will pull from the whiskey different flavors that you would not get sipping that whiskey alone. And it's not a one-way street, but a two-way street, because when you're savoring the finest malt whiskey in the world, you are also pulling out nuances, flavors, experiences out of that cigar, which you wouldn't get normally just enjoying that cigar.
And that's why that's a great point, because that's why we talk about the pairings and how important it is that they actually complement each other. And these really do well. Whiskey and your cigars go so well together. It's not one doesn't overpower the other. They just blend really, really well.
Well, and if one looks into the history of Balvenie and some of the other brands that William Grant makes, they're just fanatical in the same way we are about the cigar. So I think that it's an experience that no one will be disappointed with. It's a golden moment, as I say, which will be created when the two of these are paired together. And I just challenge anyone to give it a try.
One thing you've touched on a couple times is history. You've been around now 35 years?
We're celebrating 35th year.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
That's great. And that's from day one, your first humidor, to now cigars, the different lines, and of course the 92 rated red label cigar.
Yep.
Again, this is one of my favorites. You know that. And this has been great having you here. Pairing whiskey and cigars, I do it often, but having you here, the person who made the cigar, who knows the whiskeys, it's just a special treat for me. And I really appreciate you being here.
Wouldn't miss it in the world. And I just have to say, one thing that I want everybody to remember: we don't smoke, we taste.
There you go. And thank you all for watching. And for more, check us out on cigar.com. Thank you and enjoy.